In today's video, I want to share with you the life that I designed for myself as a life coach and also share some tips for you of how to design your life as a life coach as well. Hey everyone, my name's Krista Kathleen. I'm a life coach, a spiritual business mentor, and the founder and creator of the Born to Coach Training Academy. And if you are looking to become a professional level coach, you want to earn your ICF credentials, our program is a level 2 ICF accredited coach training program. So I would love for you to join us in an upcoming cohort. You can get more information about our program below the video and set up a coach training consult with us as well. So we can hear more about your coaching vision and your goals towards becoming a coach, and just make sure that this program is going to be the best next step for you towards becoming an excellent coach. Before I became a life coach, I was a labor and delivery nurse for 5 years. I didn't really want to be a nurse, but my mom was a nurse, my sister was a nurse, and my parents felt like it was a really stable, well-paying position. So, I was young at that time, and it just felt like it was the best decision to make, even though it wasn't the best decision for me. In my life as a nurse, it was good on the outside. I always say it was like my white picket fence life on the outside, but on the inside, I was very miserable. I was working long, hard 12-hour shifts, and by the time I would come home, my feet were hurting, my back was hurting because I have scoliosis. I was just constantly crying all the time from the stress of the job, and can be a really toxic work environment with the doctors and nurses and patients just, not treating you that well. I was just constantly tired and energetically depleted because this job was just not fulfilling my soul. I was also just sick all the time too, from, being around sick people, and then from constantly living under stress. And I really just did not like my life. And I hate saying this out loud, but I would drive to the hospital in the morning wishing I would get in a car accident so that way I didn't have to show up to the hospital. And thank God, I'm glad that never happened. But it was like to that point of where I was just, I wanted to get out. And I didn't have the courage to quit because I liked the paycheck and I didn't want to disappoint my parents or let anybody else down. And so, thankfully the universe fired me. I didn't, wasn't able to look at it that way then, but now, looking back at it, I'm so grateful that I got fired, because that really gave me an opportunity to start off with a clean slate and, figure out what is it that I want to do next. So luckily I was working with a life coach at that time, and she helped me to figure out that I too wanted to become a life coach. I was really impressed with the work that she was doing with me. I loved the questions she was asking me. I loved how she treated me, the space she was holding for me. And I just was seeing every week how much my life was changing with the work we were doing. And I remember thinking at the end of our sessions, wow, I can't believe someone could get paid for this. And I was paying her really good money as well. So it just felt like it was what I was meant to do next. So during that time, I also went through a divorce as well. That was, as I would describe, that was my rock bottom in life. And I just look at it as a way as the universe was really clearing out all the things in my life that wasn't working so I could move forward with creating the life that, was going to work out best for me. And so I sold all my stuff. I traveled around the world. And during that time while I was traveling, I was, living in Airbnbs, and I started setting up my life coaching business. So this was the first time that I was really working from home. And I put home in air quotes because I didn't really have a home during that time because I was traveling. So my home was just basically me and my body and my suitcase. But, I wasn't working at an actual building. I wasn't working at a hospital anymore. And I didn't realize how much of a transition there was going to be from working from home. Now, being in St. Louis full time, I do work from my home full time as well. And what I realized was, as a nurse, I was constantly on my feet for 12 hours. And so trying to sit still in front of a computer was so incredibly hard. I would do it for 15 minutes, and then I would find myself cleaning the house or going to run errands. I could not sit still. And I was also so incredibly lonely because, when you go to a job, I had peers, I had coworkers, I had patients and, nurses and doctors to talk to. So that was a really hard transition as well, is that of course I had my coaching clients I could talk to, but then that was pretty much it. And then the distractions were horrible because my mind associated being with home with either like resting or like getting household chores done. And so I had to retrain my brain that, okay, now you're going to be making money from home. Now you're going to be like dressing up and doing work from home. And so that was a really hard thing to switch inside my brain. But after a couple of years, I was able to make this work out. And now it's just become a habit, and it's really easy for me to work at home, and I love it. I'm a sensitive introvert, and so I find that being able to work from home full time, I get to protect my energy so much better, and so that way I'm not energetically depleted like I was when I was working outside of the house. I also love that I get to create the ultimate work-life balance for myself. And just so you guys know, like work-life balance is going to look different for each person. For me, what it looks like is I work about 20 to 25 hours per week. I work Monday through Thursday. I take Fridays off to spend time with my son. And then on the weekends, I always like to travel, sometimes by myself, sometimes with my family. I love taking naps every day. I take off from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. The afternoons where I'm just not able to focus. So yeah, I love taking my power naps or just going for a walk or doing some self-care. And really at 38 years old, well, I'll be 30 in a couple months. I feel the healthiest that I've ever been in my life. I feel so much healthier now than when I was 20 years old. And it's because working for myself and having my own business allows me to really be an advocate for my health. And then I just don't have to work myself to death. And, I get to be my own boss and create my own hours. So I love that I get to take care of myself and still have a successful job, and that those two don't have to compete with each other. And I also love that I can be present for my family. I have a 3-year-old son, Lincoln. And like I said, I love that I get to take Fridays off. I get to spend the entire day with him. So I just really love how much I can balance having a successful career and being a present mom, and then having really good health. I'm also making so much more money now than I ever did as a nurse. And at one time, I was convinced that I would never be able to replace my nursing income. Like, I love that I'm being paid to live out my purpose. That's how it feels. And yeah, I just had my 6-figure year, and I'm probably going to go to about 150,000 this year. And my plans for next year is to double that and make 300,000. And so I love that you can, as a life coach, you can make as much money as you want. I wake up every day now excited to work on my business. I no longer wish that I would get into a car accident. Thank goodness I don't wish that upon myself anymore. I literally do like jump out of bed and like open up my computer, so excited to talk to my clients that day and my students, work on my business. And I think that is just such an amazing feeling to have in life, to be excited to do your work for the day. I also love that I get to like directly see the change that happens within my clients and my students when I work with them long term. As a nurse, I would just work with people for such a short amount of time, and I hated that I didn't know like the start of their journeys. And so with my clients, I get to see their life change from the start to the finish of our coaching container. And I think that that is so fulfilling. I also love that I get to decide who I work with, that I get to decide what type of clients and students to take on, and then how many people I want to work with. And, in my job, I would never get to make those kind of decisions. So you just have so much control in your life and your business when you work for yourself. I also have my own team. I have a virtual assistant, Mary. I have a video editor, Becky, who's going to be editing this right now. Hi, Becky. I have my YouTube strategist, Liz. I have my bookkeeper, Carrie. So I love having a team that I get to work with now. And then probably my most favorite part is I love getting to travel for as long as I want, and I can bring my business along with me so I don't have to limit my travel. Sometimes I'm not traveling quite as long as I want now, being a mother. There's some restrictions with that. But before I became a mom, like I said, I was traveling for 2 years around the world while I was starting up my life coaching business. And, as long as you have your laptop and a Wi-Fi, you can work with anyone at any time. So now I want to share some tips for you to help you design the life that you want as a life coach as well too. So my first question for you is, what's your ideal work schedule? Right? How many days per week do you want to work? Do you want to work 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 2 days a week? You have that choice. You can also decide, what are your working hours? Do you want to start your days at 6 a.m. or do you want to start your days at 11 a.m.? You totally get that choice on what works best for you. And then you can also decide on what days that you can do client calls. Like for myself, I don't do client calls on Mondays because that's on those days I do the back end stuff on my business. The next question I have for you is, where do you want to work from, right? So you can work from your bed, you can work in your kitchen. Sometimes you can work in your bathtub, just don't get your electronics wet. Or maybe you want to get out of the house, you can work at a co-working space, or maybe you want to travel. Maybe you want to go halfway across the world to Bali and be on the beach sipping pina colada of a coconut and, having your laptop on your lap while you do client calls, or work on your social media for the day. Or maybe you want to do more in-person stuff and meet your clients in person at like a hotel lobby or in the park, go for a walk with them in the park. Or maybe you have like an actual in-person location where clients come to meet you and you do your sessions in person. And the last thing to remember is that you're going to be your own boss, and you're going to be giving yourself tasks and deadlines, and you're going to have to create your own form of accountability. This is something that is already built in when you work for someone else, and that's not going to be available anymore. So you literally do have to be intentional with creating it when you work for yourself. I do have a couple of freebies that will help you to get started with this. They're below the video. I have a life coach checklist that will tell you everything you need to get started. And then I also have a worksheet that's going to give you all kinds of different ideas on how to start creating clients for yourself as well. So you can grab those after watching the video. You're always welcome to join us in the Born to Coach Training Academy as well, because we already have this coaching community built in for you, which is going to be a natural form of accountability. You're also going to get to work with your own life coach in our program too. So there's that accountability. And then, we're going to just help you to figure out what is the best way for you to build a life coach based off your unique energy and your schedule and demands in life and everything. And so that will determine like what kind of task you work on each week. And then you can also ask for accountability from, maybe you already have your own personal coach or therapist, or you have a coaching community you belong to, or a friend or your spouse. Okay, so that's all I have for you guys today. I'm really excited for you to really empower yourself to start to design a life on your own terms. And I really do believe that becoming a life coach gives you the ultimate freedom and flexibility in life. So I hope that you found this video useful, and then make sure to like it, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe. So that way you keep getting updated when I release new videos each week. And hopefully we see you inside the Born to Coach Training Academy soon. So have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.